Hello and welcome. I'm Fine, they, them from Educat Kollektiv. We are based in Germany, and today I'm going to present to you a CityWalk which is based on the biography of Käte Rogalli. She was a trans woman who lived during Nazi rule in Berlin, and this CityWalk is part of the project Queer Identities in Different Times, which you can see now. It's a project that sheds light on the history of trans and gender non-conforming people in the 30s and 40s in Germany. It was done together by us and the Unicode Kollektiv and the trans historian Kai Brust, Prismatica, the Jugendnetzwerk Lambda Berlin-Brandenburg, which is the youth organization, and other partners and supporters. We want to thank all of them, but also the foundation, EVZ and DGTI, which made this financially possible. Let me give you a short intro on why we did this project. There's many amazing formats to educate and commemorate the victims of National Socialist times. However, still some perspectives are underrepresented, mostly marginalized people back then, and they are still marginalized today. We also wanted to explore some innovative formats in order to gauge a younger audience and also to make it more accessible to a different audience also. So the project educates about the systematic and structural oppression back then, and also shares personal stories of queer people to remember and honor them by doing so. We do this in different formats, one of them being the online exhibition, which is more about the general situation of gender non-conforming people back in the days. Here's a glimpse of what this might look like. There's 30 different objects who talk about this topic. And then there's a historic walk, which you can do online, but also if you happen to be in Berlin, and I'm going to present it to you shortly. And then there's a Belarusian Quilt of Pride by our colleagues, which are contemporary stories because oppression is very much an issue, and they face repression every day, and a lot of people had to leave the country. And then there's like a point-and-click adventure, which is a fictional exploration of the topic. All right, so welcome to this interactive walk, which I'm going to present to you. At first, again, I want to thank the trans historian Kai Brust, who curated this walk and who's trans themselves and also has been studying this topic for years now. So thank you very much for sharing your unique research in this way with us and a bigger audience. And also I want to say thank you to the IT collective Unicode, especially Veronica, who has made this walk technically possible, and my colleagues who have done all the organizational background and the project coordination. So the walk is about Käte Rogalli, a trans woman who lived during Nazi rule, and her life is an example of the persecution and oppression that many trans people faced during that time. The tour can be done completely digitally, but also we invite you to come to Berlin, or if you happen to be in Berlin, you can do it physically. It is close to Berlin main station, and please proceed with care, because it's about a person who was trans and also struggling with mental health issues throughout her life, possibly as a result of discrimination, and she faced extreme institutional violence by the state, but also engaged in self-harming behavior. So as such, it can be potentially triggering content, and feel free to just skip it if you don't feel ready. It will take like 60 minutes, 2 hours, depending whatever your pace is and your abilities. You can also go by bike or something, and in order to start you will have to put your email address, then you will get receive an email, which then makes you proceed to the walk itself. We learn a bit about Käte Rogalli, who was born in 1903 in Berlin, and she actually faced discrimination already before the takeover of the Nazi rule. You will, throughout the walk, answer some questions. I already put the answers, so you don't have to, and we proceed a bit faster. You might want to stop at a memorial column that commemorates the Institute for Sexual Science. It was founded by Magnus Hirschfeld in 1919, and it was a very important place back then, because it was the first institute to offer systematic medical and legal counseling to trans people. Käte herself went there, just like many other trans people back in the time, and also researchers on the topic. They also issued so-called transvestite license, like Transvestitenschein, which was an official paper with which people were registered at the police, mainly so they were tolerated to wear their preferred clothing. She received her license in 1926. Yeah, then we find out about the historical location of the institute, which then in 1933 was stormed, and materials were burned. So thus it's not only a large number of unique materials lost, but also a huge amount of queer knowledge that was destroyed back then, which is extremely sad to think that all of this knowledge is lost. She was taken away the license and also imprisoned in a concentration camp from 1937 to 38, and the official reason given was first homosexuality, which then was stricken out and changed to being transvestite, so-called. We always put in quotes. Also, you can listen to an audio of the original report, which was done by Käte about her life. It offers a unique insight in her life, and which is why we also know a lot about her, but also at the same time it is a document of police oppression, because probably she was asked to write this CV by the police. You can listen to the audio.
Born in Berlin, 1903.
And she was then later forcefully detained in a psychiatric institution and also died there in 1943 on April 11th. In August 2023, we put a stumbling stone. We were very lucky to have this in Berlin now to commemorate her. It's the first one to bear the self-chosen name of a trans person persecuted under Nazi rule. So if you happen to be in Berlin, you can also visit this place in Hagelberger Straße. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention. If you want to learn more in general about the situation of trans and gender non-conforming people in Germany, I recommend doing the online exhibition that is also part of the project. And also to reach a younger audience, or an audience that prefer to learn more in an interactive and explorative ways, we also developed an online point-and-click adventure. So yeah, I also invite you to find out more about the other parts of the project, and I thank you very much for your attention and wish you a good day.